which of the following is least likely to shift the aggregate demand curve towards right? An expectation of higher income in the future, an appreciation of country's currency with respect to the outside world, an increase in the money supply. Now let us first try to plot the aggregate demand curve. The aggregate demand schedule looks like this, with the quantity demanded is on the x-axis and the price on the y-axis. Now the aggregate demand is a function of the consumption by the household, the government expenditure, the investments, and the net export. So if any of these increases, the net aggregate demand will increase and it will shift to the right. However, if any of these decreases, then the aggregate demand will decrease and it will shift to the left. Now let us look at all the situations one by one. An expectation of higher income in the future will increase my current consumption. So if the people expect the future income to increase, they will spend more currently, and hence their consumption will increase. Now if the consumption will increase, the aggregate demand curve will shift to the right. Now an increase in the money supply, if the money supply increases, the interest rate in the market decreases. If the interest rate in the market decreases, the investments will increase, because the firms will find it easier to borrow the funds at a cheaper cost, and they will utilize that fund in investment. So the investment part of the aggregate demand will increase, and hence the aggregate demand curve will shift towards the right. Now an appreciation of the country's currency with respect to the outside world will make our export costlier, and it will make our import cheaper. So it will hamper our export, but it will facilitate our import, and hence the net export, which is equal to the value of export minus the value of import, will decrease if the country's currency appreciates with respect to the outside world. So if such a situation happens, then my aggregate demand curve shifts towards the left, because my net export in that case decreases. Hence, an appreciation of the country's currency with respect to the outside world is likely to shift the aggregate demand curves towards the left, not right. So the correct option is option B.